Aphorism 116. Some symptoms are produced by the medicines more frequently, that is to say, in many individuals, others more rarely or in few persons, some only in very few healthy bodies. In this aphorism, Dr. Hahnemann has given idea about idiosyncrasy. When medicine is given to healthy human being, some symptoms are produced by the medicines more frequently, or we can say in many individuals. Other symptoms are produced very rarely, or we can say in few individuals. Some symptoms are produced only in very few healthy bodies. Aphorism 117. To the latter category belong the so-called idiosyncrasies, by which are meant peculiar corporeal constitutions which, although otherwise healthy, possess a disposition to be brought into a more or less morbid state by certain things which seem to produce no impression and no change in many other individuals. But this inability to make an impression on everyone is only apparent, for as two things are required for the production of these as well as all other morbid alterations in the health of man, to wit, the inherent power of the influencing substance and the capability of the vital force that animates the organism to be influenced by it, the obvious derangements of health in the so-called idiosyncrasies cannot be laid to the account of these peculiar constitutions alone, but they must also be ascribed to these things that produce them, in which must lie the power of making the same impressions on all human bodies, yet in such a manner that but a small number of healthy constitutions have a tendency to allow themselves to be brought into such an obvious morbid condition by them, that these agents do actually make this impression on every healthy body is shown by this, that when employed as remedies they render effectual homeopathic service to all sick persons for morbid symptoms similar to those they seem to be only capable of producing in so-called idiosyncratic individuals. Explanation. In this aphorism, Dr. Hahnemann given idea about idiosyncrasies. The latter category, according to 116, symptoms are produced in few persons or rarely. Such symptoms belongs to idiosyncrasies. Idiosyncrasies means peculiar corporeal constitutions, although being healthy, possess disposition to develop more or less morbid state by certain things which cannot produce by changes or any impressions in many other individuals. But this inability to develop impression or any changes on everyone is only apparent because two things are required to develop any morbid alteration in healthy individuals: the inherent power of the influencing substance, that is medicine, capability of the vital force that animates the organism to be influenced by it. Morbid state developed in idiosyncrasies is not only due to these peculiar constitution alone, but it must be due to things, medicines or drug substance that produce on them. This medicine has the power to produce same changes or impression on every healthy body, but small number of healthy constitution have a tendency to allow themselves to develop such an obvious morbid state by them. This indicates that the medicine is capable of producing such impressions on every healthy body, and when employed as remedies, they render effective homeopathic service to all sick persons for all morbid symptoms similar to those symptoms which they seem to produce only in idiosyncratic individuals. In short, the symptoms which are produced in idiosyncratic individuals in very few persons are also considered as pathogenic action of the remedy, and for such symptoms also remedy renders wonderful homeopathic service. Footnote number 95. Some few persons are apt to faint from smell of roses and to fall into many other morbid and sometimes dangerous states from partaking of mussels, crabs, or the roe of the barbel, from touching the leaves of same kind of sumac, etc. Explanation of footnote number 95. Here, Dr. Henneman has given example of idiosyncrasies. Few persons are apt to faint from the smell of roses. Few, some person fall into many other morbid state and sometimes dangerous state from eating mussel, crabs, or the roll of the barbel, and some from touching the leaves of some kind of flowering plants, sumac, etc. etc. Footnote number 96. Thus, the Princess Maria Porphyrognita restored her brother, the emperor, who suffered from faintings by sprinkling him with rose water in the presence of his aunt, saw great benefit from rose vinegar in cases of syncope. Explanation. Thus, the Princess Maria Porphyrognita restored her brother who suffered from fainting by sprinkling rose water. They saw great benefit from rose vinegar in cases of syncope.